Big V. The rest are ambassadors. So yeah, sorry about last time. I was actually down with the flu. The call like last week, so we had to reschedule. But yeah, I think today can be pretty casual. I shared the agenda for some of the topics that we'll talk about today in the what channel is that? AMA board. Yeah, so if you guys want to follow along, there's the agenda in the AMA whiteboard. We need to do a better job in handing over, like whenever Answer is not here, he needs to make sure somebody is picking up the task and opening up the channel and promoting it. So let's dive right in. A few updates. We've been actually listing the T-Dot, Taiga KSM, as well as the 3USD on other aggregator platforms, as well as wallets. This is something that we're doing on an ongoing basis, as mentioned, previously, because this is how like one way. This is like one way to drive awareness for some of the products that we have launched on both the Taiga as well as the Tapio side. So Fearless is actually a really cool wallet because you can actually do crowd loan participation directly via their wallet, and you can actually track like some of the crowd loans that you have participated in. So it's actually a very comprehensive functions that they've got there on Fearless, and we're sort of seeing a lot more wallets are integrating with Polkadot, so that's obviously a good sign. And then YieldBay is actually a Polkadot specific yield information aggregation platform. We actually got in touch with the team relatively early on, and we were able to list 3Pool as well as TaiKSM and T-Dot, I believe, on YieldBay. They're kind of like the new what do you call it? Like the new DeFi Llama or DeFi Pulse for Polkadot. So moving on, if you guys are paying attention, the 3Pool has actually been featured on DeFi Llama as one of the top 10 stablecoin pools for a few times over the course of the last 3 weeks or so. Mainly, other pools that were unlisted as sort of the top stablecoin pool were, the Curve, the Convex, and then there were some from I believe it was the Optimism Network. I can't remember, but the list actually changes relatively frequently. But one thing that I do want to mention is, I haven't looked extensively into the other pools, but definitely 3USD, 3Pool on Karura is actually one of the most sustainable pool in terms of TVL, because we're currently not subsidizing the pool by a lot of the native Taiga token. If for you guys, for those who remembered, the 3USD pool, the 3Pool actually received the 20,000 KSM from the Kusama Treasury Council, and right now we're sort of controlling the emission rate for the KSM that we received. So despite the TVL right now, it's not very high. It's fluctuating at around like 1.5 million after the Akala AUSD incident. This pool is actually still, the 3Pool is actually still very robust, as well as the Taiga SM, because assets on the Karura network are not affected. So it's business as usual, operational, and users can continue to go ahead and use it. Obviously, there's some concerns around like AUSD moving forward, but that's another topic that we could spend more time to talk about when there's more clarity on when the Kala network will reinstate. But just for your information, the three, basically all of our pools are being tracked by these major data, yield, as well as like wallet aggregators. Okay, quickly moving on to the next topic, which is T-Dot, because a lot of users were asking about how Tapio is going to play out or fare after the AUSD incident. For those who's on the call, like most of you guys are ambassadors, and you guys heard what I shared earlier this week. In terms of the Tapio as well as Taiga, it actually this AUSD incident actually proves the stable asset mechanism that's powering Taiga as well as Tapio proves to be extremely sound. What that means is the protocol actually played out exactly as intended when there's sort of like a huge imbalance in the composition of the pool, meaning the fact that users actually try to swap out, not actually try to swap out, they actually swapped out dot from the T dot pool, which made the T dot pool to be very imbalanced. Has over like 90% of the pool was made up of L dot, and then the remaining, less than 10% is made up of dot. During incidents like these, the stable asset system was actually very effective because number one, T dot is always over collateralized. Okay, so meaning it's not going to depeg from dot. The second point is, when the pool is extremely skewed, it actually presents a very a very opportunistic arbitrage chance for people that at the time they could put in one dot and they could receive more than one dot worth of L dot, and then with those L dot, what they can do is just go through the unbonding period in 28 days, and then they would be able to achieve this risk-free arbitrage strategy. So we actually saw some people doing that when the pool was extremely skewed, and that sort of brought the composition back to a more fair range before the network was halted. So all in all, right, like the system proved to be extremely robust. It's playing out exactly sort of how we anticipated the system to play out. So that's definitely a highlight, despite the incident. But again, right, I would encourage you guys to spend the time to actually go into our dashboard to understand the metrics behind each pool. Everything is captured, everything is also transparent, so that you guys can see how the pool is actually reacting to whether it's a deposit or withdrawal. It's actually a very useful source of information. So moving on, one thing that we're working on right now is a new DApp for Taiga as well as Tapio. If you guys remember, right now the Taiga and Tapio DApp is mainly used for claiming claiming rewards, claiming incentives, as well as claiming fees. So it's only the claim function that's on our current DApp. However, we're actually going to be adding the mint as well as redemption function onto the DApp as well, onto our own DApp. And one of the reasons is because we want to use this DApp as a way to also bring liquidity or bring traffic back to the Akala as well as Karura ecosystem. So with that being said, both UIs are actually ready. Testing is also ready. One major improvement is the frequency of claim. So before, we are doing the distribution on a weekly basis, but right now we're able to increase that frequency. So instead of having to claim on a weekly basis now, users LPs are actually able to make more frequent claims. So that's also one of the major improvements that we've made to the app. And finally, the last point is our ambassador program. So again, right, like I think for everyone here, most of you guys are ambassadors already. But I think our ambassador team is actually growing stronger and stronger by the day. The quality is actually getting higher as well. Like I could see the questions as well as the inputs or some of the outputs that you guys are helping us produce is actually getting a lot better, which is great. But we're continuously recruiting for ambassadors. Again, right? Like one of the key question is, okay, what would you guys get right from being ambassadors of the Tapio and Taiga protocol. There's actually numerous benefits, right? Like I've listed it here, networking, early access, swag, incentives. These are just, on paper, but I would say if you're truly believers of the Polkadot ecosystem, we're actually building out actually not just one, but we're actually building out two key primitives to the Polkadot DeFi um, um, ecosystem. So obviously, Akala with their AUSD, which is decentralized stablecoin, and then we have Tapio and Taiga with our stable swap DEX, as well as the synthetic asset, and then we're building out Pike, which is money market. So people call that what, like in the Ethereum ecosystem they call this the holy trinity, right? The three main pillars of sort of like a DeFi ecosystem. This is what we're doing actually on Polkadot. AUSD, and then the stable swap DEX, and then plus we have the synthetic, and then we have the money market. This is pretty much the holy trinity in Polkadot. So being the ambassador, you guys will be able to be a part of building as well as growing this holy trinity for Polkadot DeFi. That is something that gets me excited all the time. So that's I think that's a good enough reasons to join the ambassador program. But yeah, like I'll stop there. Today is actually a relatively light session because as you guys are aware, the Akala network right now is still on halt. And just one piece of information around that is what they're working on this week is actually finalizing all the tracings of all the AUSD that were held in numerous different wallets. I think they published a report update earlier today. I think the final remaining like 52 million has been tracked. So the next step is actually to recall these erroneous AUSD, and then basically burn them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the Akala network gets back online, at least partially, starting next week, and that's when we would know, some of the functions for Tapio would be able to get back online, and then and then afterwards it's about I guess just more audits. That's definitely one, as well as how do we reinstill confidence in the community around AUSD. But yeah, let's wait for that. Let's wait for more updates. I think the call team has done a phenomenal job in terms of leveraging on-chain governance for this incident. Honestly, like probably one of the best practices, as well as really utilizing the governance structure of Polkadot. It's very ironic to say, but like it's during times like these you can actually tell whether like how much of that decentralized governance DNA a team has, and we have a lot of respect for what the Akala team has done in terms of like crisis management. So anyways, I'll stop there. I'll see. I'm not sure anybody is able to share any questions, but I'm just going to jump into Discord to have a quick look. I think the channel is like it's still read only. Yeah, we gotta do a better job in terms of transferring these responsibilities whenever somebody's out from the team. But let me just also check if there's any questions left anywhere that I could potentially answer. Okay, support Timbotronic. I'm trying to build an application which needs to derive the target swap price based on the chain data. However, I'm not understanding what's okay. Swap here, one deal KSM, KSM, okay, how do we see what the parameter input? Okay, okay, so this is related to a technology implementation. We'll get back to Timbotronic separately, but we do have documentations around how to integrate the price basically for the pool, whether it's TIGSM or 3 pool or the T-dot. All right, let me go into Tapio chat to see if there's anything. Nope. Okay, I think yeah, no questions. The turnout is not great this time. It's okay. I think what we can do is I think we'll definitely be more active in this coming week on Twitter because like we probably took like a week and a half off on Twitter because we just wanted to see how the incident kind of unfolds and don't want to like you say too many things if we don't have clarity on the whole situation, right? So I think starting next week we'll be back on Twitter and I'm pretty sure there will be more updates. But yeah, we're continuing to roll out features, as I mentioned. Also, we're actually preparing for the Pike launch as well. But I don't want to use like today's time to talk about that. We'll have a separate session, but we're gearing up for Pike launch. So on that note, we can break here. And if there are any questions, just you guys know how to ask those questions in Discord, and then we'll get to them. Okay, guys, have a good one.
You as well.
Bye.